Hello everybody, this is Solartiger with another video. Today is Wednesday the 4th of February. The time now is about 10 at night. This is a short video about fuses and overload protection devices. In your solar power system you need to use overcurrent protection devices. Most of us will normally use fuses in our DIY system. A common type of fuse used in DIY solar power systems is the automotive blade fuse. They are very cheap and easy to get hold of. You can buy them in any auto parts store, and many of us use these. Okay, the main thing is that you must choose a fuse of the correct rating to protect your wiring. If you use a fuse that's too big, then your wiring will overheat before the fuse blows, and this is a fire risk, so you must use the correct rating of fuse. Now the only problem with fuses is that when they blow, they are then useless. They blow and they can't be used again. In an event of an overload, they will blow. Now your fuse will usually blow at a inconvenient time, normally when you have no spares available, and a lot of people would be then tempted to use a fuse of a higher value to get their circuit going again, but this is very dangerous because this means that your wiring could be overloaded before your fuse blows. Now say if I had a circuit with this 15 amp fuse, and if I had a surge and the fuse blew, and I didn't have any more of these 15 amp fuses, then a lot of people might be tempted to go to their parts box and say, oh okay, I haven't got any 15 amp fuses, but I will go and buy one tomorrow or the day after, and they pick up a bigger fuse, i.e. this is a 25 amp fuse, and they pop it in the fuse holder, and everything's all working again. Then in a lot of cases, now that the circuit is up and working again, they forget that they need to go and get a replacement fuse of the right value. And this can lead to a dangerous situation that if there isn't an overload, then the wire will overheat before this replacement fuse blows. Now all this can be avoided if we have a device that can be reset. Obviously they do not make such a thing as a resettable fuse, because fuses blow and are not reusable. But what you can do is use a circuit breaker. Now circuit breakers are highly recommended because they act like a normal fuse. They even come in the same colour as a standard fuse. This is a standard 15 amp blade fuse, and this is a 15 amp circuit breaker. It's the same colour as the 15 amp fuse because it has the same rating and it does the same job as the fuse, with one key difference. That difference is when this breaker trips, the button on the top pops out and it turns the circuit off just like a normal fuse would, but in this case, when you have investigated the cause of the problem and repaired it, you can just press this reset button on the top and your circuit is going again. The key thing is here is that the device is reusable. So if you select the right value of current for the circuit breaker, then you simply reset it and your circuit is protected again at the correct value. So this is a good thing, that if it trips, you just reset it. So that means you do not need to replace it like a fuse. So you'll always be able to get going again with the correct value device. So your circuit is always protected with a correct amperage device. So this would discourage you from doing a temporary repair with a fuse of a higher rating just to get by, and the biggest problem with this is you get by and you never get around to replacing it, and that's where the risk of potential overload in the future arises from. So it's best recommended to use circuit breakers, because if you have any problem, you just go and resolve the cause of the problem and you can reset it and your circuit is protected again. The only downside is that you can buy automotive fuses very cheaply. You can go to discount shops and buy 20 or more of these for just £1. So they're very cheap, but when they blow it's inconvenient and you have to replace it. Whereas I bought this circuit breaker on eBay for just under £4, and you buy it once and you can reuse it again and again, so it's a reusable device. On this circuit breaker it says you can use it on circuits up to 28 volts, so I'm using a 12 volt electrical system, so that is fine. So these are circuit breakers. They are overcurrent protection devices, and they can stop your wiring from overheating in the case of a fault and help prevent a fire. So that is circuit breakers. They're very convenient, you never need to replace them, and you'll always be protected at the right value as long as you buy the right device to begin with. So that's that. So this is just a short video about these. I can show you that they fit into the same socket as a normal fuse. This is just a blade fuse holder, and this is a circuit breaker. This is a 25 amp circuit breaker. I'll be using this one to protect my power inverter. So it will simply replace the 25 amp fuse that I'm currently using. So the 25 amp fuse is for the inverter. I have a 300 watt inverter, and at 300 watts it draws 30 amps, but it is good not to run anything at its maximum rating. It will last longer and it puts less stress on your device. This blue one is a 15 amp breaker, and this will be going in the circuit that leads to the charge controller. So that will protect the charge controller and the DC load output of the charge controller. So that is circuit breakers. So thank you for watching, and this is Solartiger saying goodbye. Thank you.